everybody, and welcome to Hear Me Out Pitch if this is your first time, or welcome back if you're returning. And if you are returning, thank you. I'm Tim.
And I'm Willem.
And we've got a fun episode for today,
Oh.
I hope. An interesting one.
I guess I should kind of explain, since this is kind of my idea, and it's been kind of forming in here for a while, but me and Tim have started this podcast, and we've gone through and we've made up pitches while going with movies, but these movies that we're talking about are just, so far, we're just changing a few things to make them better. And of course, that's my original purpose of this podcast, but me and Tim talk up a lot of, I wish they did this, I wish they did this. So in the future here, we're going to try every now and then to make up our own pitches, movies, books, stories, video games, what have you. The main goal is we're trying to come up with our own stories. And I will say that I think I'm very lucky to have Tim as my partner in crime in this, because, he is a storyteller. Technically, he is a person who loves D&D, and he typically runs campaigns. So I would like to say that Tim has some feet in this already. I just tell tall tales, so it doesn't matter. I'm just kidding.
Well, I also am an author. I'm not a published author, but I have a few books that I'm working on actively. So, okay. I like to tell stories.
I know.
Storytelling is one of my favorite things to do.
It was one of the reasons why I wanted you to help me. It struck me like lightning. I went, who would be good at this podcast? Tim. And I was right. And we've had some pretty fun adventures. You
yes,
guys would love maybe you'd love our, I think most people would enjoy our D&D campaign. Our characters are funny.
I think so. Yes, they are very funny.
If I could imagine Lamb being voiced by anyone, it'd be the guy who voiced Grug.
Travis Willingham?
Yep. Travis Willingham would be good but not like too dumb. He'd be slightly more like his voice with Roy Mustang. Yeah. But he'd still be a little kind of like, what?
No, I think Zach would be good to voice it. He'd do a good job voicing his own character.
Okay, then how about he be his tiefling character then?
Zarius?
Yeah. Or would you want Xander to be... Not Xander. Who's the dwarf from Vax Machina? Vok Machina, I don't know.
There is no dwarf.
The... Scanlan.
Scanlan?
I don't know.
The gnome?
Oh, he's a gnome,
Sam
sorry.
Riegel?
Yeah, he could be...
Sam Riegel could do it.
And I think... who plays Joel in The Last of Us? I'd honestly want him to play...
I don't know.
He plays... you would recognize his voice. He probably did a few voices for Vok Machina every now and then. Editor's note, the actor I'm thinking of is Troy Baker. Thank you. But I'd want him to voice Zoltar. So, anyway, we're not here to talk about their story. We're here to talk about our own. So today we're kind of going from scratch. So I just kind of want to ask Tim.
Well, kind of scratch.
We are going to kind of cheat and take some of Tim's, as one of his ideas for either a campaign or book from today. Just kind of get the kind of feel. Someday we will start from scratch, and someday maybe we'll let you guys decide what we do. So hopefully that's what I hope. So, but Tim, I think my question is, if you had to say what are 5 necessary things we need to start a story, what would those, or is there more than just 5?
To start a story?
Yeah.
It really depends on what your definition of start. Are you preparing a story, or are you just starting from the very beginning? Because if you're just starting, all you need is one thing, and that's an idea. And that idea can be a character, that idea can be a place, that idea can be a function of society, that idea could be an item, a magic item, an everyday item that you want to give a little bit extra, give the spotlight a little extra. like a spoon. Maybe you want to write a story about a spoon that goes on an adventure, all you need is an idea, and then from there you build out. So how I'm writing a story, probably my biggest story right now, that I started. So on my mission, my companions and I, we'd go on drives every now and again on Sundays. Because it was COVID, we couldn't do much. We weren't allowed to do service on Sundays. It was a day of rest and meeting with people that we could, talking over the phone, etc. We also, in my mission, we had a COVID checklist, things that you were allowed to put into your schedule, and a Sunday drive was one of them. And so we'd go on these Sunday drives. It's out in the middle of nowhere in Arizona, the border of Arizona and New Mexico. And so it's very dry. There's very little brush. There's very little green. There's a lot of washes. So you'll see, dried up riverbeds. You'll see cow skeletons. I have a cow backbone sitting in our entertainment center. From one of our excursions. But one of those excursions, we drove out, and I was looking out the window, and for some reason my creative juices were just going that day. And I looked out the window, and there wasn't actually anything there, just the landscape. But in my mind, I saw a young man, maybe in his mid-20s, cape billowing behind him. He had a sword strapped to his side, riding a horse. And then all of a sudden, catapults were launching, giant boulders at him. And then I imagined him, holding up one of his hands while he's riding, and this big Doctor Strange shield disc thing appears in the sky above him to stop one of the boulders as he keeps running. And that got me started writing this book that I, on my mission, ended up writing 140 pages worth. And then I lost everything except the first 2 chapters. No, it was just the first chapter. And I was very sad about that. So I've been I've been taking some of the characters that I wrote back then, and I've been reintroducing them now, and I have so many different revisions and ideas on how to write this story, and finally, so I started with that idea, right? I'll cut back before I continue to explain. I started with that idea of this guy. I gave him a name. For some reason, the Brandon Sanderson names have stuck with me. Kaladin and Kelsey are the K names as like a big main character, male main character. And so I named my character Karadash, which sounded kind of weird, but also kind of cool. It sounds nerdy. It sounds kind of lame.
It sounds perfect for a fantasy story.
It's what I did. And then I gave him a sister to adventure with him. And her name, I gave her some super fancy long name, Marinathia, that shortened to Mara. She goes by Mara, Mara, and then they have their friend on one of my buddies growing up. I guess one of my buddies from high school. He, McKay Bergen. For those of you who knew him at Bountiful High School, he passed away on his mission. While he and I were serving opposite sides of the country, he passed away. He got hit by a truck or a bus. He was hit by a bus while he and his companion were riding a bike.
I remember that story.
And he was a very good friend. And so to honor him, I added another character called Bergen, which is McKay's last name. It's also a city in Norway, but that's not where I got the name from. Bergen.
What's burgundy? Is that a color?
Burgundy is a color.
Sorry, I am so like.
But yeah, so I had my main characters, I had Karadash, I had Marinathia, and I had Bergen. And then I had to create a setting for them. So I created, I created their little town, which was just a farming village, which on one of those, Sunday drives, we found an area, and we got there, and I could see the village sprawling out in this empty wasteland. There was a river wash, dried riverbed, and some river washes, where not river washes, but washes where the water, the flood comes in and it just tears away the land. And I saw, I saw this little town, maybe 12, 15 houses. And, I envisioned a couple trees every sprawled around, and some stables and some horses, and people tending to a couple fields and stuff. And so I created that town. And I created it, I fleshed it out, and I gave each of these characters a home. And then I figured I need to give Karadash and Mara a family, so I gave them a mother. And I wrote that their father was killed in a bandit raid a few years back. And I was like, there's usually... there's usually something more to it than just the bandit raid, going classic storytelling. And so I was like, you know what? The dad is the crown prince, but he didn't want to be, so he ran away. So I wrote that in. And his brother, who, again, going back to the kingly names that Brandon Sanderson gave us with Dalinar, I wasn't even thinking when I came up with the name, but Darladan, Emperor Darladan, sounded regal, it sounded kind of cool, it sounded kingly, and looking back, it's very much inspired from Dalinar.
And that's okay. I've realized that so many, especially after the rise of people loving Dune, I've noticed that there's so many, homages. There's so much. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
Homages, like notes, just little things that people do to show their appreciation. Like, this inspired me, or this is what I want. It's really awesome. And I don't think we'd have energy swords from Halo if we didn't have lightsabers first. I don't think we'd have phasers without first having stun rays from Star Trek. Like, there's so many things that just go off each other. Just in stories inspire each other. So I think it's really cool. Just the thing that's sticking with me, and I think it's going to be the title of this episode, is to start a story, you need an idea. So I think that, because I've told you one of mine, and I think that we'll definitely...
Yes, I love your idea.
Do you want to just... Should we just go with that one then?
You know what? Let's do it. Because I have a handful of book ideas, right? I have in Samsung Notes. Yes, I have a Samsung. Suck it. I have a notepad that is 5 pages long, which in Samsung Notes, that's not a ton of notes. That's not a ton, but it is a decent amount. And
it's pretty beefy.
There's a dozen just ideas for me to write new stories. I have one that I'm going to turn into a D&D adventure. I have one that I think would go really well, turn out really well as an animated movie, or animated TV show, if done correctly. I have a couple that would be really good as short stories. I have a couple others that would be great as, a single novel. I have a couple others that would be great as a few different series, or a series, several different books in this series. And originally I was gonna talk about a few of them, and then I think I like your idea.
All right,
better.
We will do that because I don't know if I ever would do anything with this. So, I guess we'll kind of start with it then, because I told a buddy of mine a while ago, and if you're listening, Ricky, thank you for this idea. But I told Ricky that I'm not very good with coming up with my own ideas. I'm really not. I am someone who I would like to say would be put into a. I would be put into a thought process sort of meeting because I can help build and expand people's ideas. But I'm not very good at like original ideas, in my opinion. And my friend Ricky one time said, "Hey, here's my idea for you," and I love it a lot. And I've kind of had this idea. Well, I love this idea anyway because there's a picture out there. And as we talk about it, you guys, some of you might remember it. It was a meme on the internet for a while. But the text that my buddy gave me was that he wanted to have 3 teddy bears. My buddy has 3 children. And I gifted all 3 of his children teddy bears. And I gift many of my friends, when they first have kids, a teddy bear. Because I personally love them. And when I was born, I was given a teddy bear, and I was a small NICU baby, so I don't know, so a special connection with the idea of teddy bears watching over kids. So simply, Ricky told me that his idea was 3 teddy bears are assigned by a wizard to go to their assigned children. So that's kind of where it is, and I've kind of had more ideas on that. And if it's okay with you, Tim, the wizard's name, I want it to be Bergen.
Okay.
I just like that name. You said that name, and I went, that's a wizard's name.
It's a good name.
So, but yeah, so teddy bears off on a fantastical adventure sort of thing. Crap. Okay, folks, this is going to be... this is kind of where the episode gets weird. So, Tim... we have an idea. 3 teddy bears. Do we want to make this a fantastical world, or is there a land of imagination that they kind of wander through, but it's parallel to ours? Like, how do you want to go with this?
I kind of like the idea that, and this is your story, but I like the idea that it's set in our world, and there's just a toy factory. Build-A-Bear, maybe. It's the true purpose of Build-A-Bear. Maybe the original Build-A-Bear. I don't know, something like that. And there, there's a little. Maybe it's just like a. You know how there's the mom and pa shops.
Yeah.
That just pop up every now and again. That
we just see like a raggedy old building compared to this very modern world. There's just this random house, like almost like Carl's house. I mean, Mr. Ferguson's house compared to like all the corporate buildings. You have this tiny house in the middle of it. Something like that.
Something like that. And it's just an old man inside who builds teddy bears and imbues them with life and then tells them to go out and take care of their kids. He assigns them a kid, and then they have to go on a little short adventure to get to the kid, and they show up maybe on the doorstep and knock on the door, and then they go Toy Story, Andy's coming style, and they kind of just plop down and they hold a little sign that says for so-and-so, the little kid, from the toy maker or something like that, from someone who wants to help.
I just imagine like the beginning of the movie or whatever this is done is like just an old wizened voice, like, many people just buy teddy bears from a store, and you see like these people going like to a Build-A-Bear type shop, but some people, and you hear they open the door, they receive a special one, and then you see like you go back and follow that teddy bear that just barely knocked on the door. You see him kind of, it's like we're following him backwards. They're special, and you see it stand up and it starts walking backwards. And they have to go through a perilous journey. We see him like walking backwards through like sewers, like all this stuff, like doing all this stuff, and it leads back to the old man imbuing it, something like that. So I don't know. That's what I imagine.
I imagine these teddy bears are more. I imagine these teddy bears are just animated. Like they don't actually talk. They can move.
There's our little.
Because I don't want this movie to be the kids' version of Ted.
No, I don't.
But I do like the idea that it's animated. Maybe, and here's an idea. We could do something, and this could set up maybe the plot to show the purpose of the teddy bear. Maybe it could be that, or maybe it's the old man and he's speaking and he explains something to the effect of when a child is born, in order to counteract the cuteness and goodness and purity that it brings into the world, a shadow is created to balance, to keep the balance.
Have you seen? So I like how you said the shadow. So have you seen there's a meme out there. So this picture. And actually it's funny because a man is actually making his own like comic book series off of this image. But 1902 is when teddy bears were made. But this is the picture.
I love it.
So for all of you who haven't seen it, I'll try to maybe share it on social media and that you guys can like swipe to the side and see it. But it's this little tiny teddy bear with a little wooden shield and sword sitting above a child, and this giant monster is just staring at the teddy bear with its arm like around the child, and it's about to protect him. So I just like the idea that the kids are there to protect and defend and to love.
You mean the teddy bears?
Yeah, what did I say?
The children are there.
The children.
The children.
The children protect the teddy bears. They should.
They should.
And I feel like that story's already been done so many times. At least the idea of these teddy bears are like, I don't know. That's just...
I mean, it's the story of Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah.
Right. We've got Pitch Black, who wants to be remembered, and so he gives everybody nightmares. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I'm like, because I've been thinking about that, and so it's like I've either want to do one where they do fight mystical monsters, or it's kind of a more wholesome, like just these teddy bears are trying to go into the modern world. Maybe even these are the last 3 teddy bears of this magical creator. Kind of like Number 9. You ever seen that movie?
I haven't seen it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my list to watch.
It's a good one. It's weird.
My dad liked it. My dad really liked it.
It's really clever. So I kind of want something maybe like that. If we don't go the dark, fantastical route.
I kind of, we talk about all these movies that are meant more for adults, right? In this podcast, and I like the idea that this movie would be for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I think going back to how we could start the movie, it could be this, the wizened old man who explains, when a child is born, a shadow is also created to counteract the goodness, to keep balance.
What if we had it the other way? Because there's so much evil in the world, people create goodness in the form of knickknacks, blankies, other stuffed animals.
Or maybe when a child is born, it brings a shadow, and in order to protect these children from the shadows, people create or people use these objects that protect, like a blankie,
or blankie, or we have like toy swords to like comfort some kids. We have all these things, and then like the last thing on the list would be, and of course we have teddy bears, and like it just shows like a little kid holding a teddy bear like crying in the dark, and we see like shadows going away as it's hugging the teddy. Just like because of how we
I can totally, and it might just be because I mentioned Ted, and I haven't seen it. I just know it from YouTube, and it's voiced by Peter Griffin, which is even more funny. But I could totally imagine, and this is not going to be in this movie whatsoever. But the kid's crying, and the teddy bear looks at the shadow and flips it off as the shadow's retreating.
But he can't flip off because he doesn't have fingers, so his little paw goes up. Just.
But no, that would not be in it. That's just something funny.
I like it. That's funny. Random Ted tangent. Have you seen that in the TV show? He goes to, it's set in like the early 90s, late 80s, I forget which one, but he goes to a Halloween party dressed as an Ewok.
I haven't, but that sounds awesome.
Because that's what Ewoks were based off of. Oh, and I want to talk about that in another episode. There's something funny about that. Mm-hmm. So,
but yeah,
I think so. Real world,
yes,
teddy bears are made.
Yes,
and we can talk about how, like, the idea is that people imbue their love, but some people need help because they don't have enough of that in their lives, or they don't receive these gifts. And there was a great, man, like an older man, who, as it could be a descendant from Merlin or something,
or it could totally just be there was a boy who grew up. Maybe it's not the last toy.
So not the last three.
No, maybe it's set a little bit earlier in our timeline, and we follow this little boy who never had love in his home. He never had a teddy bear or anything. He never had a blankie. He never had any of that, and he had to grow up. And he found a teddy bear one day and decided that he wanted to create these teddy bears for other people. And it could be the origin story for this older man.
It'd be cute. So I like that. So let's say
that could be the first few minutes.
As well as we see him, like, there was once a young boy who didn't have that love, and we kind of turn back the clock, show him maybe in the 50s, and it shows him he never received love, but instead of he always tried to do his best to be kind. And then one day he discovered he had a gift, and we could just leave it at that. If it's a kids movie, we don't really have to know everything, but we could see him like, young adult or late teenager. He's like helping someone, and then one day he sees a teddy bear on the ground. He's like, "Oh, hi, buddy," and like gives it a hug. And then he sees like a little kid crying at like a carnival or something because they're lost. And you see that he's like, "Hey, do you need a friend?" And as he like hands off the teddy bear, we see the little kid pick it up, feel better. And as he's walking away, we see the teddy bear wave at him.
I love it. Oh my gosh!
And he goes, "Huh." And he like tries it, and he's like, he tried it with, other dolls. We see him do it with like Raggedy Anns. We see it do it with. He's like, but the feel of teddy bears just felt natural. Other dolls seem to not work so well. We see a creepy puppet. It's like, ah! He like throws it across the room.
It's a Jack in the Box.
He's like, other toys weren't a smart idea. You see him like huddle in his room, like scared. You see the creepy those weird not marionettes, the hand puppets that are terrifying. No, the creepy ones, like Goosebumps ones. What are they called?
Porcelain dolls? Because those are creepy. Oh, the dummies, ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah, ventriloquist dummies. Yeah, thank you. Like, I imagine you with a ventriloquist dummy, and it just, like, turns on its own. He puts it down. He's like, other toys worked, and other toys worked a little too well. And it shows he puts the ventriloquist dummy down, like, huh. And we see it turn and look at him on its own. Something like that. The Jack in the Box would be hilarious. You see it jumping, he goes, no, absolutely not. But then we see him that he just has this connection with teddy bears. Because he's like, this is perfect. It's cuddly, it's nice, it's cute. I could see him like petting a stuffed rhino coming by. He's like, "Aw." So it works. Mm-hmm. So, but he just slowly, teddy bears became the one that he became known for. He even started to make them, and he made a little shop, and it would just be called Bergen's Bears, and it'd be cute. Just stop.
I like it. I love it. Make me cry.
I know. I saw you just got hit in the feels.
We're just starting to explain this movie, but like this is something that I have an unbridled desire to just create this movie. Like, I just
So the shop would be Bergen's Bears.
I think this would be a really good animated movie.
I think either way,
live action or animated. I think animated would be
as long as the story is cute.
Yes.
And so far, I feel like telling his story of we have Bergen, and we discover
he has a gift.
And I would imagine him when he's opening his shop. We see the line like through the door, and we see like kids walking out, and like parents would never believe, but the children did, and we see them like walking with their teddies. You know, that's just something that the parents could never like conceive. You know, we don't have to have that make sense. It's kind of like Polar Express thing, if you will. Or Calvin and Hobbes.
If you've read, kind of like Calvin and Hobbes, or if you've read Percy Jackson, it's like the mist that hides the monsters from.
Yeah, they don't really see it, but Bergen can, and so can the kids because they believe. And it would be cool though, and even though sometimes some parents did, and we see like a father and his son, and the bear, and the dad even has his own bear, like running out, like all happy. So it'd be cute. So I imagined. With that, I feel like
he could talk about one image I can see in my head right now is in war during the war, one of the wars. We see a soldier with the teddy bear, and he goes in and he finds a little girl maybe, or a little boy, and gives them the teddy bear to cheer them up.
Oh, I had a worse idea. I had a child walking around scared in the military, and we see a teddy bear shaking a soldier.
Oh, no. No, not that. No, not that.
Oh. Or at least, he doesn't have to be shaking him. We just see a little girl, a little kid crying, and then we see a teddy just, like, sitting. And the person could be crumpled up peacefully. And we see the teddy, like, the kid, like, sniffling, walk up. And the teddy looks up.
Maybe not a person. Maybe a grave. I think a grave would be
suitable for.
And I think that would connect a little bit better with more people.
Yeah. So, thank you. I definitely took it morbid. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
It was a kids show.
I know. Supposed to be a kids movie. I know, but sometimes there's some deep stuff in some kids movies.
Right.
Anyway, so either way, the point being that these bears have gone all over the world, and they have a goal to help. And it'd be cute because his arm could be gone. And the little girl sees him, and he reaches out to her, and she picks him up and walks away. And you're like, "Aw." So I think that'd be a cool idea, that these Bergen Bears, have gone everywhere. Their goal is to help. Mm-hmm. So I still think modern day, this is just his backstory.
Yeah, this is just the backstory. And then modern day, we could just see
the Shaq age and everything else grow. Totally up reference, if you will. Just seeing everything else grow around him. Yeah. The little Shaq remains. We see the line that used to pile out.
The line gets shorter
and shorter.
Until it just disappears.
So I still think we could make it. These are his last three bears.
Maybe.
Because,
here's one way I kind of want to go with this, and stop me if it's not the way you want to go.
No. This is I wanted to make it either it's his last. Like, I want us to be connected to Bergen, but I don't want us to be the focal point of Bergen, because either or these three could be going to find a new successor.
That's the way I wanted to go with it.
I was thinking of that too,
and I'm thinking all three bring their kids back, and those 3 kids become best friends, and they
take over the
shop together.
So you think our goal, what would it be? The synopsis, the goal of the movie is finding a replacement for Bernard. Not Bernard, Bergen.
Yes.
Bernard. So the main is finding Bergen's.
Maybe in Bergen's.
Oh, we see him as an old man, and he's trying to make a bear, and he stabs his hand on accident. He's like, ah.
Maybe
he's like,
maybe in Bergen's backstory, we can also see him, very, very Coco style. He ends up getting married, has kids, tries to rope the kids into it, but they don't. They don't have the gift.
I was gonna say he's just a old man who never had kids. The bears were his kids. And I think for the sake of
maybe he found a woman who also has the gift, and they worked together on it, and then she passed away.
So you want a Klaus?
Yes, Klaus or Carl Fredricksen, that kind of thing. I think that works. It's sad, but I think it works.
It could be short-lived. So I think that can go either way. So either way, he's alone. So either he had a wife, no kids because they couldn't have any, and that's okay. Because some people who have that gift, like Klaus, like Mr. Fredricksen, because those two would have been great dads.
Oh, 100%.
And that's one of your favorite characters, so I can't sully his name. So, so we all know Mr. Ferguson would have been a good dad. Fredricksen. Who's Ferguson? I always say that. So either no wife or a wife. So the main goal is finding Bergen's replacement.
Yes.
So do we still want to do, I think 3 replacements, or at least it's their goal. So do you want to be the big twist at the end is these 3 kids work together?
Yeah, I kind of want the 3 kids to work together. And maybe...
What if it was adults?
I like that.
And it's like 3 unbelieving people. And maybe here's the thing is they're set on these 3, and one is struggling in his own marriage. One is and I'll just say person because I don't really care what their roles are, what their gender is. But at least 3 people I think struggling in their current relationship. 2 is a selfish person.
A Scrooge.
Yeah. So we have a selfish person. One struggling with his relationship. One is extremely selfish. So we have struggling, selfish. What's another S? Sad? Yeah. No, I could probably go with struggling. Or struggling with relationship, though. That one's pretty keen. Because I feel like a kid would be awesome, but...
Maybe a teenager.
Teenagers. Well, here it could be a funny one.
Maybe one is an older... Ooh.
Maybe
one's a widow.
Okay.
A mother whose kids have left to college and don't ever talk to her anymore. One could be a Scrooge. And then one could be just a teenager who's trying to figure out what he wants to do in the world.
I want his name to be Peter. Peter Kent. I don't care what people say. I've always wanted to name someone Peter Kent. Make them a mix of Superman and Spider-Man. So, anyway, here's a thought, though. I think I want to make a point that these 3 bears, that every bear that is made is specifically made for a kid. So what would be sad if, he made these bears, Ollivander's wands.
Yeah.
He's had these 3 forever. you know, and usually people come in and find them, but he made these three and he goes, huh. And we see he's getting old and he's no longer able to make anymore, but he's looking up and he goes, you three don't have a home. And so maybe, I just imagine he like picks all of them up gently, puts them down, and you see them like start moving, you know, and he goes, you three are going to be special because you three have to go out and find your child. You know, something like that.
I like that. I kind of, going back to who they're going to, I kind of want it to be kids.
Kids?
And that way, just my, I guess, my marketing, the tiny bit of marketing brain that I have.
No, you're absolutely right, because this is a kid's story.
We want it to be a kid's story, and I kind of want the focus to be on, you know, there's a reason we have teddy bears. It's to scare away the bad things that hide under your bed and hide in your closet.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Okay.
That's kind of I kind of want to keep that focus.
Maybe each of the parents we discussed about is one of their parents.
I like that.
And then the big twist at the end. So maybe...
And those three parents, maybe that's why these teddy bears have to go to these kids.
It's not really for the kids, it's for the parents. That could be the big twist at the end.
Could be.
We think it's the kids. The audience thinks it's for the kids. And then at the end, we see, like...
It's for both.
It's for both.
The kids and the parents.
So...
I'll be honest, and you can say what you will. Growing up, I had stuffed animals until I was like 16. And it was they were comforting, and even on my mission, one of my buddies, Aaron, if you're listening, I'm talking about you. He gave me a Webkins that he got from someone. In that same area that I created that created my story, he got this Webkins, and it was comforting and to him, and he gave it to me, and I still have it because it's comforting and it has good memories attached. And it's something, and you have your little teddy bear sitting right here between us.
This isn't the one.
No.
This is not him. This is just one. This actually was given to me on my first birthday by my uncle, who's 5 years older than me. It's really cute. There's a video about it. But he sits on this little shelf. No, I'll be right back. I'm glad you brought him up because I wanted to grab him for inspiration. He sits.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Sits on your bed.
He doesn't sit on my bed.
It's on your bed.
Okay.
It's on your bed frame.
He's on my bed frame. I haven't technically sat with him in years. He's just sat above. Like, I want to make a shelf for him someday, but I can't really make a shelf. But yeah, this guy's older than you. That's weird.
Both of them are.
They both are, yeah. These two things are two of my... This guy, and funny enough, he doesn't really have a name. He's just called Baby Bear. But he is...
That is his name.
That's his
name. That's what you call him. That's his name.
But yeah, he's like my, he's my buddy. So I have a big, the story is for him. So, and it's for my friend Ricky, but every time I've been thinking about any of these teddy bears, I just imagine him. So, yeah. I'll share a picture of him. So, I like what we've set up with Bergen. I like how we set up an idea for his... So if we do have the main characters as kids, I think that the replacement idea might have to be put on pause for a second. Because right now it's kind of not... I think a replacement could be shown at the end, and we can think about a way...
It could be that at the very end, after the climax of the movie has happened, when we fast forward a few years and we see Mr. Berg, or maybe we see
have a little plaque and dedication for him.
Maybe I'm gonna fast forward to the very end with an idea. We don't have to go with it,
like an epilogue.
Yeah, but we end the movie zooming in on the teddy bear's face, and then we zoom out of the teddy bear's face, and the teddy bear has been carved into a headstone. And we zoom out and we see the 3 kids standing at Mr. Bergen's grave, and they're just standing there, and we can hear Mr. Bergen say something to the effect of, when the gift passes from one to another, others are sure to feel its effects. Or something cute like that.
Like Field of Dreams style. And
Yeah.
we just see that the people we see them walk to his grave, and then it cuts to them all in front of the shop, and they open, and it's still called Bergen's Bears. It's beautifully repainted, and we slowly pan out when we see people just coming in droves.
And yeah.
So
it's very. It feels very cliche, the way that we're doing this, but I think that's
cliche
good.
Is fine because
it's good because it just feels good, and I'm getting goosebumps. I think just thinking about how this movie.
So here, I'm gonna throw this out for another idea. I do want the kids to be there, but you know what would be cute? So these 3 kids are all having issues. Mm-hmm. There's reasons why no one has brought them to the shop to receive this. And again, we showed that these dolls sometimes get to certain children around the world, and by any means necessary. Whether they're gifted, whether they're shipped, or anything. Like people have ordered it or something. But I really imagine that some people gave their kids to that person, or we even say or even more tragic circumstances, and that's the military one. We see the teddy bear sitting alone on a grave in a foreign land with a little American flag by it, and then we see a little
just
kid.
the white cross.
Yep, and then we just see a little kid pick up the teddy bear.
There's the one graveyard in France.
Yep. Oh man, we just had Memorial Day.
We did.
I don't want to think about it. Do you know they celebrate it?
Huh.
France celebrates Memorial Day. They do a big thing. Anyway, I can't think about it too much because I'll tear up. So we're gonna stop. So, but the goal is that the teddy bears will get to people they're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if they're passed along because that person needs them at this moment. Just like the gift is passed.
Yeah.
But these 3 teddy bears, for some reason, no one came, no one claimed them, nothing. Or there was never an order, just nothing. And it's always...
Maybe they're imperfect.
Oh.
Maybe one of the bears is missing an ear. Maybe one's missing an eye, and maybe one, the stomach circle is peeling off. So they're not perfect.
Hear me out. If he's gotten as good as he says he is, I feel like they could still be patchwork teddies, but they look fine. But they are just patchy. Maybe. I think patch would be good because it'd be cute because he has some teddy bears who look like panda bears. There's big ones, there's small ones. Could you imagine a giant big one walking around? Maybe not that giant.
Not Costco size?
No, not Costco size. That would be funny though.
That would be funny.
Maybe there could be a time where he's trying to reach something in his old age, and we see a giant teddy bear ooh. So just grab something, but then that defeats the purpose of the 3 who weren't assigned. He just made a worker teddy, a slave. No, we don't want that.
No. I do like the idea that some of the bears that haven't yet been claimed help out around the shop.
And we could see that in the beginning, maybe, but then it's just him. And it could be those 3 could
it's him and those 3.
And those 3.
And they're
So
maybe the reason that they are beat up a little bit is because they're helping out, and they've been helping out around the shop the
And
whole
he's
time.
just been fixing them
He's just been fixing them
this whole time.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I
That
just imagine
sounds cute.
they could be like one of them could be one of his very first, if not the very first one he made, like the leader one. Like Mark Hamill voices him. Mark Hamill would do a great job as a teddy bear.
He would.
Or Mark Hamill would be Bergen.
I was gonna say Mark Hamill could be Bergen.
So do you want the bears to have voices?
No.
That's gonna be some very quiet parts, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want it to be like the old-fashioned Great Adventure?
Yeah.
With the cat and the two dogs? Because originally they don't say a thing, and then they added voices in the later adaptations of it.
Or
do you want them to talk, but they just don't? Their mouths don't move.
we could do that, or instead of them talking, we could just have the old man narrating when they're doing stuff, talking about things, just generalized talking, but what he's talking about kind of applies to what is happening.
I think for the sake of marketing
probably
brain,
the voices. It
gotta
would
have
probably
voices.
give them voices. You're right.
So, if it was a more like darker toned with more fantasy, maybe we couldn't do talking and they could be literally fighting shadows. But I kind of like what we were doing. That it's just more. These are magic teddy bears, and they fight off just darkness, as in like your dark thoughts, your comfort, and all of that implies.
I can see a scene where maybe the power goes out and one of the teddy bears walks up with a flashlight to one of the kids.
I imagine like a woman in her late 20s, like in college, is freaking out about a test or just got broken up with, and even though she's in college, she's still like holding on to the teddy bear, and you can see her like breathing easy. We see a man who's like getting ready for like a big business like interview, and he's like a dude's like probably my age, and we see him like dressed up getting ready. He's like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And he's getting ready. He looks at his teddy bear, gives it a hug, and then he leaves. Like something cute like that.
I like it.
So, and that's could be for earlier in the movie. So we agree, these three just never were found their owners. They never were chosen. So these three are going to be special, and they have to go out and do it themselves.
Yes. And I kind of like the idea that part of the... I don't know. There are many ways we could do it. We could have it be the whole main plot of the movie is the teddy bears trying to find their owners, or they could find their owners halfway through, and then they have trials with the owners, or they find the owners right up at the beginning, and then we see their interactions with them. I kind of like the idea that they're looking for most of the movie, because that would give more. It would just help, me watching the movie and seeing, the adventures that the teddy bear is having on its own. I don't want to see the adventures it's having with the kids, because I want to imagine what the adventures it would have with me would be. Does that make sense?
I just had a thought. It does make sense, but my brain.
We don't have to go that route though.
So
that's just my.
No. So I'm thinking about how we make this the simplest it can be, and you're gonna love this because you love DuckTales.
I do love DuckTales.
Triplets. There are 3 triplets out there, and we're gonna combine, or at least 3 siblings. They could be like the Baudelaire kids, whatever, and we could have that it's just one of their parents living on their own, and it could be a dad who's selfish, it could be a mom who's selfish, just one of the parents, or one of the parents is in this dark place, they've lost their spouse.
I'm thinking maybe it's a single father who maybe they just lost their mom, and so the dad is just super depressed.
Maybe it could be, and I know this one might be a little heavy, but it could still work. It could be different. It could be a very bad divorce. And here's my reasoning is because it's kind of it's different than death.
It is
because
different from
death. And this might be hitting a few nerves with some people listening, and I think it definitely might hit me, but divorce isn't fun.
No. It's not.
And we won't dive too much into why divorce isn't fun. I don't want anyone feeling like they're being attacked. But, and sometimes it is necessary, very necessary. And, if Mrs. Doubtfire taught us anything, sometimes parents grow apart. So we can't blame people for it. So I think a very bitter father taking care of 3 kids while a mother left. And here's what I'm thinking, and here's going to be the flip: is the dad will become the new Bergen before the kids take over.
Huh.
He's like in that dark of a place. Like, we're going to learn through the kids' conversation with the teddy bears, all these things. And again, it's really cute because these bears are special. So every time that you've imagined these grown adults hugging their teddies, you always see them, even though they don't believe anymore, you always see the teddy bears like move and they hug them back. So like when you imagine the big giant burly dude for his business meeting and he gives his teddy bear a hug, you see the little arms go around his neck.
Or maybe trying.
Yeah, you see them like try to go around his neck because he's huge. Like, dang it! Oh. Or the girl who like is crying, and we see like a little paw come up on her lap, but it just looks like he fell over, but he totally did it on purpose. Like what? And it will show that we, as the audience, still see that the teddy bear like crawls up and puts his hand up, but all she sees is a teddy bear fall. So point being is that this father is the strict opposite of Bergen was at his age. Except he has kids while Bergen didn't. His wife left. Bergen's wife left because of death and mortality. This father's wife, possibly selfish, what have you. We don't have to go into it. All that happens is he feels abandoned, and now he's stuck with kids that he's like mad about. It's a lot, and he's just in a hard place. So he could be like this complete opposite, but then we learn through the story that he was once like Bergen, like this very joyful, happy dude. And
I like that.
I just imagine one of the teddy bears coming up to him, like finally pierces the veil. When he finally is looking at his kids, and then when the teddy bears come up to him one by one and like fall on him and give him a hug, and then he admits that he's...
So we could do a literary split in the story where, some scenes were following the bear, some scenes were following that family until they converge.
We could do it that way.
I kind of like that.
What'd be funny though? What'd be funny though is the second we see the bears walk out of the door, we see a car speed by, and we see the bears go, and it's the kids in the back seat, and we follow the back seat. Sorry, I probably said that weird. Mm-hmm. 3 bears walk out of the store, the big swell of the orchestra, and they're like, "This is gonna be," and then honk. Oh, city noises. They've never been outside the store before. They're like, ah! Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, this car, they're like in the middle. We have the typical like teddy bears in the road, Toy Story moment. Oh my gosh! Oh! Cars are swerving around him. Oh! Finally, this big SUV honk and like drives over them, and they're like, ah! Ah! And then you see one of the kids in the back seat. Dad, you almost hit those teddy bears on the floor. Why the heck are there teddy bears on the ground? And just driving. So. Something like that. And then we follow those people. We follow the kids and the dad.
I like it.
So I just feel like that would be a funny transition for introducing the family.
That'd be a really good transition, I think.
So that's probably like right off the bat. That we we made it simple for us, simple in our
Yes.
work, that it is 3 siblings. I think that's really cute that it's 3 siblings.
Yes,
Do
I
we-
like the idea. Maybe 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah. 2 boys and a girl.
That's kind of how I'm imagining it.
So I'm guessing that's how we're going to have the bears be.
Yeah.
Kind of mirror.
Yeah.
And I feel like 3 is a good number because we have like 3 bears, we have the
3
Aristocats kids.
In children's media, 3 is perfect.
It's a really good
throughout
number.
history, 3 has always signified perfection.
It's
so
a
I
magic
think
number.
it is. I think 3 works really, really well.
So do we want like a mean, do we want like a sassy older sister with 2 younger brothers? Do we want a youngest sister? Do we want a middle
I'm thinking
daughter?
an older, not that they're triplets.
Because we want to do
I like
triplets.
the idea that they're triplets.
Okay.
And I like the idea that the sister acts a little bit more
The
protective.
The oldest. She's the oldest of the 3.
Yeah.
Like it's 2 minutes. Shut up.
She's the Huey
Yeah.
of the 3.
So you vote triplets.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining we've got Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
So my only rebuttal for triplets, I do like it, but the only reason why triplets is kind of a long stretch is that if we do 3 different ages, it relates to more people, and
That's true.
it shows how long the relationship is of the parents, because the youngest daughter could be like 4, or son. It could be, and I'm a only son with 3 sisters.
Maybe it's 2 older brothers trying to take care of the youngest sister. I do like that.
Because we're both the oldest sons,
Yes,
but I don't have any brothers. I only have sisters.
I have both.
So I could easily, though, imagine an older sister going through it, angry at dad, blames dad for mom leaving, 2 younger brothers. But I think 2 brothers, that just feels, for me, that feels good, and also, and that could be, and you guys can make fun of me because I was the only boy, so I would like to see brothers. So it's something that I've seen sisters my whole life, but also I think of the Aristocats.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just imagining it in my head, and that's the only way. 2 brothers and 1 sister. That's the only way that it seems right.
We have the Baudelaire kids.
Yeah, they're reversed. We got the Baudelaires, the oldest sister, then we got the brother, and then the younger sister.
So what if we just did a mirror of them? So
I like
oldest brother,
middle sister, youngest brother. I like that.
Okay.
That works.
So oldest brother, want a kids movie, but we want to appeal to 14, 15, 16, Percy Jackson age.
I'm thinking more 12, 9, and 5. 12, 9, and 6, maybe.
3 years difference.
3 years
That's
difference
a
between
good.
them.
That's a good difference.
Yeah, 3, 9, and 6. Because it's teddy bears.
It is teddy bears. You're right. Well, that's why the oldest one would be. It would be sad if it's like a 12, 14-year-old. What if there's a bigger gap between the oldest two? There's something hard about having a big gap, and you know it. Trying to relate to your youngest sibling, but imagine when you're the oldest, and then there's like a 10-year gap. Not 10, but let's maybe say 7. So what if it's like 14, 7, and 5? No, because I want the oldest sister to be... So what about 14... What about 14, 9, and 5? Oldest brother, 14. He's starting to get to that age of like he's got a lot packed on him. He's 14, just turned into a teenager. In less than 3 years, he's going to be
In high school.
He's going to be going through a lot. Like the next 5 years for that kid is 5 years after 14 is is a world different.
Yeah.
So 14, a 14-year-old, I think of who I was at 14 to who I was at 19. 5-year difference. That is weird.
There's a very big difference for me as well.
A 14-year difference from me at 9 and me at 10 and me at 14. There's not a lot of difference between me at 10 and me at 14. I'll be honest with you guys. And that could just be me, because I was kind of a dumb ADHD kid who just didn't mature very well. But I just wasn't mature. But 14 to 19-year-old me, that's a world difference. So I think 9 to 14, and then 5. I feel like that's just like the perfect degree of like, because the oldest kid is teetering off the edge to become a young adult, going through it, and again, the weight of the divorce is on top of him. Little girl at 9 feels like she has to be mom, like she's just old enough to be like, I have to help be mom, and whatever, and I need to protect my little brother who is basically out of infancy, complete the infancy cycle, can talk on his own, all that stuff. That's my offer. So we still have 2 pretty young kids, but just enough that people would still want to watch this movie who are a little bit older, because I would want this to be the type of movie that like everyone goes and sees. Yes.
Yeah, I want it to be almost like a Toy Story, where even as an adult, I'll still watch Toy Story because it's, one, I grew up with Toy Story, but also it's a good story.
It is a good story. Movie. It's an idea of what. So, but we did agree, and we've mentioned that it's just a veil, just the believing veil. I do imagine that there's like a crazy person on the streets. And like a homeless man on the streets, like pointing, "Oh my gosh, bears are moving on their own!" And everyone looks at him. Someone throws him like, "Hey, man, go get some help!" And he throws him some change,
like a few quarters. Yeah,
here, like I'm sorry, and then walks away. I like the idea about the dad turning into the replacement. It's kind of like the opposite of Mrs. Doubtfire. I didn't realize that I'm getting a lot of like inspiration from Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm totally imagining Robin Williams characters. Like I'm imagining Robin Williams as the dad from Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's Robin being, he's not being his fun-loving self. We see him being angry, kind of like Good Will Hunting. I don't know if you've seen Good Will Hunting or like know of that movie, but his character isn't really that funny. He's kind of serious. And then slowly he turns into that fun-loving Robin Williams character at the end. So do we want the bears to interact with the kids, at least?
Toward the end.
So how long... So this is probably, like... How far in the movie would you say, like... And I'm talking when we first transition to the kids...
I'd say...
I was thinking 30 minutes maximum.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's an hour and a half movie, so I want it to be more for the younger kids.
So that's 90 minutes,
right? So 90 minutes. That's pretty standard for classic Disney movie.
So the first act is Bergen story.
20 to 30 minutes, maybe 25. We'll say 25 minutes.
So Bergen story is the first act, and second act begins right when they walk outside. Yes. They're freaking out. And then it really, really goes into Act 2 following the kids.
Yes. I'm thinking beginning of Act 3. So, about an hour in. The bears...
So are the bears more our main characters, or is it the kids?
I want it to be both.
Okay.
I want to connect both to the bears and to the kids. I want the kids to experience, whatever troubles they're experiencing, but I also want the bears to experience... Not the classic, Buddy the Elf enters the real world, but there can be some of that. But I also want there to be a lot of like, you're thinking the raccoon scene?
No, I was thinking of them walking by a Build-A-Bear, and it shows them stuffing one of the bears on the machine, and one of the bears is like, ah! And it's like, and like I imagine the camera is in front of like the machine, okay? And we see that, so let's say you're the bears, and it's like zoomed in, and it's all fuzzy, and then it just goes, whack, and we see the bear like,
I think back of the head.
yeah, but it'd just be funny at least at this place, and we can call it like build a friend, and then we just see it just go through, just go in the butt of the bear, and that's how they stuff it. And you just see one of the bears like, oh, and he holds his butt and walks away. You know,
I was thinking, I was imagining the raccoon scene.
I actually was thinking them fighting a raccoon.
Yeah,
like full on, like
no, I was. Yeah,
punching it.
I'm thinking like we can have some existential crisis. The bears are arguing over what if we don't actually find them? What if we end up on the side of the road, kind of thing. I do want there to be they fight animals.
It would be so funny. Will the animals have voices or no? Because again, it is believed, so it's just kind of like the Jack scene. I just imagine one of the bears is like digging through, and it could be the younger brother bear. He's digging through, and he's digging, and I imagine the girl bear being this beautiful white one with pink patches all over her. That's just what I'm imagining.
I was actually imagining like the exact same thing. So I'm imagining names.
Oh.
So the
bears?
Kids, yeah.
Okay.
So the kids would name the bears.
That is smart.
The kids would name the bears, and the girl's bear would be Patches because she has all these patches. The youngest boy would be Buttons because he's got mismatched buttons.
Oh, so now Buttons is a good name, huh? Just kidding.
Yes, it is.
If you don't get that reference, listen to our Coraline episode.
And then I was trying to think of something because the older boy would name his bear
Stitch. I'm just kidding.
No.
Too close.
But like something. He's reluctant, I guess. He'd be more. I feel like he'd be a little more reluctant.
I imagine he doesn't have an eye. I imagine he's missing an eye, for some reason, or he loses an eye. But he's like the gruffer bear. I imagine him being gray, with a white mouthpiece, like this part.
Or maybe
his mouth is gray.
Maybe he was a little overstuffed, so he's called Tubby.
Aww. Tubby bear. Oh.
Actually, I like that.
I can imagine.
So Patches, Buttons, and Tubby.
But I imagine that Tubby's like, yeah.
I'm imagining a scene. I'm imagining the raccoon scene where Tubby, he's got a belly. He's Tubby, and then as soon as the other two are threatened, he sucks in his stomach, and all the stuffing goes up into his chest and arms.
Okay, no, for the raccoon scene, you know what I imagined? Mm-hmm. So I imagined one of the little bears, maybe Tubby got accidentally thrown in the trash, and Tubby, and I'm going to call him Buttons. So I imagine Tubby being a gray teddy, like gray, and he's got
I was imagining Tubby being the very classic brown.
I actually really like Buttons being the cute classic teddy. Okay. And he has little button eyes.
Yeah. Maybe Tubby could be a black bear.
Yeah, imagine gray, but he's like, it looks like he's aging because he's so because again, they're old.
Sun bleached.
Yeah, so it looks like, he's done the powdered donut thing, like what dogs do. So he's brown, but he's graying, and his nose is getting all white. So he looks like an old bear, but he's still like, but, so I imagine with the raccoon scene, is Tubby gets thrown away, and people were making fun of him. He's like, look at this fat bear, and they throw him in the garbage, and you see Buttons coming up, Tubby, no! And he's like, I'll get you, Tubby, I'll get you. And these raccoons, you see, like, he moves a bag, and a hiss comes out, and it's raccoons, and raccoons come around, and I imagine they're cornering Buttons, and you see Tubby sneak up from behind. He goes, and the raccoons look at him, and he goes, you guys made a mistake. I'm not the one you should worry about. And you freaking see just Patches come out of nowhere and bulldoze through all of them. We have a little montage of her just Jack style throwing raccoons, beating the crap out of all of them, and Buttons in the corner crying into Tubby's arms. He's like, she's so mean! Just beating the crap out of the raccoons. So
I'm imagining something different.
What did you imagine?
I'm imagining it's a family of raccoons. There's baby raccoons.
Oh.
And the mom, the parents are trying to protect them, and the teddy bears save the babies and just hold them and cuddle with them. And
we could have that be after.
We could have that be after. And then the parents, maybe it starts raining, and the parents bring over, like, the trash can lid or something to stop the rain while they snuggle with the babies.
So, like, maybe maybe while Patches is fighting the two big raccoons, there's a misunderstanding. Patches is fighting them, and Tubby, being wise, finally appears holding the babies, going, they were protecting their babies. And she's like, I imagine she's like pulling one's ears, and the other one's kind of like on her arm, like gnawing on her arm, and they both all freeze. All three of them freeze and look at, Tubby just holding the babies. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, he's not really holding the babies. He comes out, and all the raccoons are like nuzzling him and being all cute because he kind of looks like a stuffed raccoon because of his fur pattern. And he's like, I hate this so much. And then when it starts raining, they all get worried, and then the raccoons like guide them to a trash can, and then they all leave, and freaking Buttons is like, bye. So that could be one little scene. I honestly was like, I either want them fighting an alley cat or raccoons.
I think the raccoons. The alley cat would be funny, but I think the raccoons fits.
I think the raccoon's cute. So it doesn't have to be like I imagine Miss Piggy moment. Like, she says a lot of hi-yas, fighting, pulling the daddy raccoon's, like, ear, and Mama Raccoon is gnawing on her leg, and then finally Patches, Tubby's like, hey, stop it! Mm-hmm. or you hear him laughing, because maybe they thought they were eating him. And then you just see that they all are just using Tubby as a big comfy thing. He goes, I smell like garbage, it's never gonna come out. Or when they're under the box, Buttons is like, Tubby, you gotta go out in the rain. You smell. Just something like that. So I think that would be a good scene. So I think that would be a good build-up. So while they're in the box, that's a good time to transition the rain.
Good transition scene where we see the kids. Maybe we pan up into the rain and pan to the side through a window. The kids are looking out.
I imagine we're panning, and the oldest brother is opening the door, opening the window. It's a city. There's a fire escape. Opening the window, and you just see the two little kids sitting there like, you can't go. He's like, I'm gonna find Mom, and they're like, you can't. And the girl, being wiser than she is, going, it's not gonna help. You know it. And or maybe the sisters are trying to run away, and the older brother. So one of the kids is trying to run away.
I like the idea that it's the sister trying to run away, and the brother is.
Or it could be both of the two kids. Like you hear whispering, like, okay, and they lift it up, and you see her trying to help the little brother out, and the light turns on. They turn thinking it's Dad, and it's the older brother. What are you doing?
I like it.
And they're like, we're gonna go find Mom. She's gonna make everything better. Like, it's not, and he's like that, and he closes the door. That's the reason why, we're like this, is because of Mom. Finding her isn't going to help. And they're all like, what would you know? And it's like, oh. So how long has it been since they've been split up? Has it been like a couple months?
I don't think we know.
Then I'm fine leaving it at that.
I don't think we know, because that, not knowing what I think would connect bit more.
It doesn't matter, because many kids go through these stages, and they're like, well, Dad's getting worse, Dad's getting mean, he's always been, and the little boy could be like, Dad's always been mean, and you see the older brother tear up. He wasn't always like that. So the point being, this is how we kind of learn of this, and I think that's how I want them to meet the bears, is, the kids kind of, he goes, all right, you know what, let's just see what happens. But it's raining out there, so let's get your ponchos. Like, he pulls out 3 ponchos. All right, let's go. And it'd be cute because each poncho matches the
The
teddy
bear.
bear.
I like it.
So you see, like, all of them get up, they're looking around, and you hear, like, the dad is just... What do you want the dad... I want the dad to be creative and fun in his own way. So what could he have been before the divorce? Again, I'm really taking inspiration from Mrs. Doubtfire. Is he, like, a voice actor? Is he... Maybe he's a storyteller. Maybe he's a big D&D guy.
He could have owned he and his ex could have owned a store together, and he lost the store to her in the divorce.
What kind of store?
A toy store.
Oh, that's what I thought you were going with.
Could be a toy store. My original thought was a candy store, but that doesn't quite fit. But could be a toy store.
Toy store. All right, so what is their last name? Because I kind of want to keep... So we have Bergen's Bears, so what would be their last name? Oh, and it's really sad because since she's taking it, she's changing the name of the store because it's not her last name anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Tatum's Toys, or... I don't know, what's a good T name?
Tim.
No.
Oh.
Is there people with the last name? I don't think I've ever met Timothy's before.
I have.
Really?
Growing up, they live in the same street, on the same street as my grandparents.
Their last
grew
name
up-
was the Timothy's?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
They're really cool. There's Thomas, the Thomases.
Thomas's Toys.
Thompson.
Ooh, Thompson's Toys.
I like that.
I like Thompson. I like Thompson a lot. Give me two more. Thompson's. I think
Travis.
I think the Thompson's Toys kind of rolls a lot better.
It does.
If you can think of any more.
Let's see what Google has to say.
But the point being, Thompson's Toys. So Mr. Tom. I think for now I'll just say this is Mr. Thompson we're watching now. And I do want a scene now of them looking at the store.
Be Taylor.
Taylor's Toys. I think Thompson's the best one.
Okay.
I think Thompson's
Also
Toys.
Tanner.
Nope. I really think...
Okay, Thompson's Toys.
You know, because, like, I don't know how to explain it, but Thompson's Toys.
Yeah.
Thompson. It's just nice. It's two syllables. It's
the,
nice.
the alliteration works.
Thompson's Toys. Thank you. It's the
Yes.
alliteration just seems to run smoother. So Thompson. So this is the Thompson family. And I do at least want a scene. So do we want the scene before or after they get the bears?
I'm
Of
thinking
the wife. I just imagine the wife has torn down. Like, I want to see the father see the Thompson in Toys get torn down. And what would her last name be? It'd be something silly, like something that doesn't flow with the acronym. And he's basically going to have this conversation we have. He's like, that doesn't even go with the alliteration. It doesn't roll off the tongue. You're going to go with Annabeth's Toys? That's stupid. That's a scary doll. She's like, well, excuse me. Like, I don't know, something like that. We don't even have to see the mom.
I don't think seeing the mom.
But I think
I don't think
seeing
I
the
wanna.
toy store, I do want to see a scene.
Here's
sorry.
Here's a scene that we can throw in.
Okay, I like it.
The dad notices the kids are gone,
Yes.
and now we're splitting between three groups. We got the bears, we got the kids, we got the dad.
That's.
I
We're thinking
like-
on the same page.
I
They
like
are.
the. I think the kids are going to the toy store because they want to see their mom, and the bears are just following their nose.
Whatever inkling they have.
Whatever they've got.
They could even see them come from the rafters, not the rafters, the fire escape.
Maybe I'm kind of thinking more. It stopped raining. Kids have the hoods off the ponchos.
But imagine how cute that would
Bears
be.
are running. They
Yeah.
maybe we see Patches trip and fall into a puddle.
Hey!
We can have the kids get to the toy store. They see the sign. We can see Thompson's Toys, the sign, laying on the ground to the side, and now
The Thompson part.
No, just the whole
Oh,
sign.
the whole sign.
The whole sign, and now it says it's some other.
It's not even a
name.
store. It's
Not even a
a
store.
toy. It's not even a toy store. It's something.
Nail salon.
Yeah, something.
Nettie's nail salon. Nettie's nails.
Or just something. We don't even have to know. It just shows that the toy store is gone.
Yeah, and they start crying, and then the bears run up, and the two oldest kids are. Actually, I want the oldest boy. I want the oldest kid to do this part. The oldest kid gets angry, kicks the sign, walks down the street a little ways while the sister and the youngest brother are talking, or they're crying into each other's arms. And the youngest boy turns around and he sees the teddy bears hugging his siblings, and he's kind of like, what, you know?
Because we see like, oh, it would be cute because they stopped crying for some reason. Like they're sniffling, but they're like wailing, and he's sitting there, and we hear them like kind of stop crying, and they're just sniffling, and there's like a piece, like the orchestra will be going, there's a piece going, music. And when he turns around, we see, Patches is with the daughter,
the sister, Buttons is with the little one,
and they're just holding them, and they're just sniffling, but they're visibly like better, and we see the bears like hugging, and then I'm imagining, and I'm
imagining he he looks back, he sees it, and then he looks down, and Tubby just has his arms up.
No, you got it. No, he's in disbelief, and you feel it tug.
You're right.
You feel a cute little, you see a tug, and when he looks down, the thing is, he's older, so he looks down, and he just sees a teddy bear on the ground. He's sitting there, and I want there to be like the interaction of like. So maybe I don't want Dad to meet the kids. I don't want this to be like the ending scene, because I need the kids and bears to work together with the parents. So this is the end of Act 2.
Yes.
I want this to be the end.
So
of Act 2.
maybe Dad hasn't noticed.
No.
The kids go back.
Or maybe he does, but when he does, all he sees is them with their bears. And he's like, where'd you get those from? So, but the point being, the end of Act 2 is the oldest brother who has lost his sense of believing as well, in a way. Like, he's on the border. This is going to be more positive. I don't mind having a positive movie. This is cute. What we're making up right here, this is cute as heck.
Really
I am
cute.
loving it. So, again, we see the audience, we see the little tug. At little paw, tug, we see, and we can even see his poncho, visibly. And when he looks down, there's a teddy bear on the ground. And he goes, what is happening? And kind of almost like a headache is going on with him. You see him rubbing his head.
Or maybe he rubs his eyes.
But
he's been crying.
Yeah, and the siblings are what get him. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, I just imagine the interaction here is his little siblings are like, they're alive, or like something like the point is they're trying to tell him, like, believe, look, really look. And the little sister, because the little boy could be saying, he's so soft and he's so warm and he's got buttons for eyes, and he goes, you're the best friend, Buttons. Like, he's already like accepted this is his bear, and he feels good. The daughter is looking at her, and she's like, Patches is wonderful. You're my friend now. Like, they automatically have a name. Like, it's like just, it spews out of them. There's no hesitation, just... And it could be cute because what if they actually already had those names? Because that's what Bergen... These are special magic bears, Tim.
You're right. Maybe Bergen... Maybe they've had these names.
And like, Buttons, you're wonderful.
I don't know.
Think about it.
Yes.
Think of how cute it would be, like, because when we show all these scenes of these kids getting their bears, they always say their names, or even there were names for them already, like something like that, or like they don't actually know. That was the trick. That was the cute trick that Bergen would do. They would say, "What's his name?" and they would say it, and Mr. Bergen would move the little title card underneath each bear. Because imagine like a big checkered shelf, and he would say, all right, let's see what I named him. And when he would remove it, it was always the same name, and that's how he knew that the bear was for them. It's like Ollivander's wand.
I like it. I like that.
So automatically...
Yes, I like your idea. That's how it is.
So it'll be cute, because when you see them, like, say, Buttons, you're my best friend, you see Buttons all like... Because this is special for them. You know, Bergen made them. And so, you know, when Buttons hears his name from a child... Because every other person that they've interacted with, they've just said bear, or they say a different name, and you see that the bear visibly is like, oh, sad. Mm-hmm. But then, and we could have a few scenes of them being like, what would you name this bear? And he'd always look at the card and go, sorry, that's not their name. And those three, that's why those three are so sad, is they never, ever, oh my goodness, whew, sorry.
I like it. And so we'll have that little sequence, and the older boy will pick up Tubby, and he'll see, you know, he'll name him, or he'll see maybe Tubby's paw is coming off. He's like, "Come on, Tubby, let's go get you fixed up."
And that's when.
And that's the name.
But that could be when. So, I do like that. Or maybe, so do we want it that the magic is visible? No, because the little kids believe. But, you know, when the older brother says the bear by name, Tubby, it hits. And then Tubby's alive to him.
Yes.
So we see the little kids, and they're like, Patches, you're wonderful. And we see Patches like, oh, kitty. Like, she talks very, like, proper, and... You know, she's just been this princess of the shop, and she's like, "Oh, hooray for me!" and like hugs the little girl really hard.
She's like Pooh Bear.
Oh,
I like the idea that she talks kind of like Pooh Bear,
but she's not. But she's not silly. She's not silly.
She's not dumb.
Pooh Bear's not dumb. He's simple.
He's not dumb.
He's a simple bear.
Yes, but she talks quiet and simply like Pooh Bear.
Oh, hooray for me! I received. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys know this, but I really kind of. I don't know if you guys can tell, but again, teddy bears have a soft place in my heart. So, more like a warm, little, fuzzy, stuffed with fluff place in my heart. Anyway, so Tubby, I kind of want it to be like a struggle for the older brother to accept Tubby. Like, it takes a bit. Like, it takes a good, like, all right, come on, let's go home. And, like, don't forget your bear. And, like, I don't need a bear. And you see, like, the little brother pick him up. Come on, you got it. And, like, the little brother stops him, like, gets in front, and he's holding Buttons in one arm, Tubby in the other. He goes, this is your bear. They came to us. And I'm like, what do you mean? He told me. They're like, they came for us. And he came for you. He says it right now. Like, he is not saying anything. It's like, just, come on. You know, a little 5-year-old, you know, just, come on. Do it. And pick up the bear. Pick up the bear. And the little sister by him, yeah, pick up the bear. Like, shut up. It's cold and wet. I'm tired.
Pick up the bear.
Pick up the bear. All right.
That's a Phineas and Ferb.
Get on the bike.
Last day of summers. Yeah. Get on the bike.
I love that. I haven't seen that scene that much, but I love that scene so. Come on, Candace, get on the trike. Get on the trike! Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Hold the bear! And he picks up the bear, and he's sitting there, and he goes, and then he looks down at his little brother and his little sister, and they both, like, hug their bears, like,
You can see in his face, you know, he visibly softens.
And he's like, all right, and he gives him a hug. He's like, all right, I feel a little better. And you go, no! Feel it. Believe it. And he picks him up, does it again. I'm not feeling it. Like, well, what would you name him? Jefferson. Like, just says something ridiculous. You see Tubby in his arms for us. Like, oh. It's like, oh. You see Buttons, like. What about Scar? And like, and we could throw this reference for you. Turbo. And then you just see, yeah, Tubby. Oh, that's way better. No, let's do Tubby. And then you just see, and Patches. No! Your name is Tubby. That's what Mr. Bergen gave, and they always call him Mr. Bergen. They don't ever...
Or Papa Bergen.
Yeah, like,
I like Papa Bergen.
Oh! Papa Bergen called you Tubby. Your name is not Turbo. And you're like, I could have been Turbo. And like, just... So for all you guys out there, you guys would appreciate that. But finally, point being, end of Act 2 would be...
All right, Tubby, come on.
All right, Tubby, let's go. And then you see him go, okay, where are we going? And then it cuts to them opening the door, opening the front door. It's raining again. They're covering the bears. And you see the dad come down the stairs. Where the heck have you been? And like just angry. And they're hiding the bears under their ponchos. Like, oh. Like, get up to your rooms. And he's like, I can't even look at you. And I can't imagine. Like, where were you? We were at, and they say Mom's shop. Fine, go to your rooms. We'll talk about this later. Just angry, you know? It hurts.
Maybe he's talking on the phone.
Ooh. Oh, the phone calls. Anyway. Oh, okay, so what... I feel like we've set up... I just imagine Tubby, where are we going? Ah! And immediately it cuts to opening door... Oldest brother is sitting there squeezing Tubby, but not like kind of holding him tight, and you see Tubby squirming.
Maybe that's the beginning of Act 3.
Yeah.
The whole naming sequence.
Yeah, like
I'm thinking we're getting close to the end here at this point. Because I'm imagining.
That could easily be an hour at that point. So yeah, we could have a half an hour. It could still be an hour 45 minutes.
Could be.
Moana was like, I don't know, a lot of these. Anyway.
I'm thinking more classic Disney, where they were an hour to an hour and a half.
If I'm spending my made-up money on a made-up movie, it's going to be an hour 50, Tim.
That's fair.
I'm spending a gazillion dollars on this. It's got to...
But, no, I'm imagining... that at this point they go up to the room. I
imagine they put all of them like on the oldest brother's bed, and they're just sitting there, and they're still in their ponchos.
Bears. Yeah, I'm imagining they talk to the bears. They have a little conversation. They ask where the bears came from. We came from Papa Bergen's shop.
Papa Bergen. The old creepy shop on down the road. Yeah. It's not creepy.
It's whole.
It's whole. How would you like if we called your house creep? Oh, it is. This place is sad. What is this? This is called an apartment. An apartment? Oh, so small. You all share a room? Like, I don't know why they talk like that, but that's how.
But
there's 3 little beds in their room, and like, who's been sleeping in your bed?
I'm imagining it's a bunk bed and then a.
Oh yes. Bunk bed and
then a single
one, little desk in the corner for the brother to do his homework. So,
or maybe it's 2 bunk beds and the bottom bunk on the one is a desk.
Yeah. Oh, I had a life bed like that. Loved it. Either way, the point is they all share one room, and it just stinks.
I'm imagining.
Oh, I would hate sharing.
You know what I'm imagining, and it's way too big for this situation, but the attic room in Gravity Falls. That's what I'm imagining. This is kind of how it's kind of set up.
Yeah. I imagine like a. Yeah. So what is going to be our final drive here? I just imagine in this final act, the children learn about the dad. You know, they can imagine, and this could be where he's on the phone, like, do you know where our kids just were? And like blah blah. Like for some reason he's like blaming them, like. We don't hear much, but the wife and him, the ex-wife and him are on the phone.
We only hear his.
Or it could be a phone call. We hear him yelling, and you're like, "Stay away from that shop. That shop is your mother's now. Don't worry about it. Stay away. It's fine. She's doing it with how she will." And the phone rings. Oh, speak the devil. She's probably calling about you guys because she knew you were at the shop somehow. And it turns out that she didn't even. It was about legal stuff and whatever. And he's like. And the point of that phone call is, do you even know where your kids were tonight? And it's like, they snuck out to try to find you, and we could hear like, wah, wah, wah. It's like, well, of course I didn't know they snuck out, but that's not my fault because you're not here either. Just like, I don't know. We can easily fill in the blanks of this dialogue, and
I'm almost.
I just want that to be the only interaction.
Just because it's going to hit the feels, I want that interaction to be very short.
It is,
if at all.
And it's the only one I want with the mom, really. The mom is not the point of this.
Or maybe we allude to it more. Maybe they come in and you know, they come inside and the dad is hanging up the phone, looks at them, looks up the stairs, looks back at them. Because I'm imagining, not quite I guess it would be an apartment. You're right. Never mind. We established.
I think apartment would be good.
I was imagining kind of like, townhome, almost. Where
okay, we could do townhome.
I was imagining like a little townhome where, you know, you got the living room and the kitchen, and then you got the stairs that go up to the 2 bedrooms. And there's a bathroom up there, and it's just small.
Oh, actually,
that's kind of what I was imagining. But it doesn't have to be that way.
If it is an apartment, they open the door. Dad is on the phone with officers. Okay, on the phone with officers. Yes, officers, I found. My kids the door was open. I'm going out to look for them right now. So we want to show that he did know they were gone, and like he's on the phone and he's trying to figure it out. You can see him getting on all this stuff, and he looks out at the door of the apartment. He goes, "Officer, they just walked in. Thank you so much for your time, blah, 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 whatever." And that could be like, I had to send a message to your mom. I had to call the police. And you see him,
and he's starting to freak out. Here's what I want to see. He's starting to freak out and starting to yell at them, and then all 3 of the kids just walk up and give him a hug. And then he kind of just,
and the bears and the bears do it too. Like,
and he looks at his 3 kids, and then he just, you know, tears come out. You know, he's starting to cry, and he sits down and he just holds them, and then the bears can hug him back, and he just, and
he doesn't see it.
Crying face goes into more of from sad to happy that he's with his kids. He's got his kids.
So, and we have to make sure we're showing the audience he still doesn't see them.
Yes.
But I want this moment to be cut short, sadly, because again, he mentioned he texts the wife. Wife calls.
I don't want that.
You don't want it?
No, I think that would ruin the moment.
That's the reason, and that's kind of why I want it, is because it just, we're having this tender moment, the bears are in their life, we think, oh, the movie's doing pretty good, and then we're reminded of why the dad is struggling. And a phone call happens, and it cracks. We see healing at that moment, they're doing great, they're having this cute, but again, he is angry at them. And then that phone call comes through, and then once again, angry, and he immediately remembers where they were, and it's like a darkness that we've mentioned before goes over him. Not like abusive. I don't want it to allude that the dad's abusive. He's just a man struggling a lot.
He's angry. He's sad.
Yeah. So the phone call, and he sees it, and he goes, all of you in the room, we're going to talk later, all upstairs right now. Answer the phone. We don't need to hear the conversation, but we can already just hear yelling on the other end, already yelling, whatever. And then we cut to the kids talking to the bears, and they give the hash down of what's gone on in their lives. Like, they fill out any gaps that we haven't filled watching the kids, if that makes sense.
I kind of, yeah. And in that interaction, I kind of want the older boy to ask, so why are you here, you know, after they've all explained, and Tubby can look at him and be like, we're here to make you happy. We're here to help you be happy again. And then we can have further conversation. Maybe they mention, you know, they mention Mr. Bergen's shop again, and the dad can walk in the room and you know, ask, where have you been, etc. And then he also, you know, maybe he gets a little bit confused and he's like, why are you so happy? You kids look happy.
Where are those bears?
What are the bears? Where did the bears come from? And I haven't seen you this happy in a long time. What's going on? And then the kids can explain the bears came from Mr. Bergen's shop, and
well, we need to take them back to Mr. Bergen. These aren't ours. We can't just take them. And then we see the Tubby sit up, and I can imagine the stuff now. No, sir, we are here for your kids. Try to, but nothing. He hears nothing, and he just completely walks past Tubby. Oof, and Tubby falls over because he just got walked over. He's like, I'm sorry, Tubby. He's apologized to the bear because he's still a dad. He goes, oh, sorry, teddy bear. Puts it down.
Sorry, Mr. Bear.
Sorry, Mr. Bear. He goes, my name is Tubby. My name.
Garfield style.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're talking.
But nothing. Nothing. Yeah. So, I think I would want the ending of the movie. I think during this time as well, because I do want to we've seen a lot of interaction with the dad and kids before. We'd fill in the blanks in Act 2 a little more, but we've kind of focused on the bears. We'd fill in more, but I think for this one, I'd want a scene of them looking at the dad with all his toys and how he was a toy maker and how he just felt like it would be better for people. So I think the point of the movie would be I'd want a scene of the dad and the kids we need to return these bears. They walk past the shop, but yet they kind of start feeling better, and we see the kids are holding the bears. And I think I would just want the end of the movie to be that they've, I don't know, would it be a big legal thing, or maybe he would just, maybe it was a big battle with him and the wife to go over the toy shop.
Maybe he lost the toy shop, and he says, maybe I can start over. They go to Mr. Bergen's shop, and Mr. Bergen asks, what's going on between you and the wife, and he explains, I lost the toy store to her, and he's like,
and he looks at
Mr. Bergen looks at the bears, and then at the kids. And then he looks at the dad, and you see the dad kind of hold his kids a little bit closer. And Mr. Bergen smiles and says, well, why don't you have mine?
Basically that. I want him to walk into the shop. The dad walks in and looks around. He goes, oh. This place is, and he doesn't really think about what he's saying. He's this place is turned into a dump. And he goes, oh, I just thought of something really.
What if the dad had come here earlier to get his teddy bear?
I was just saying that. And he goes, and Mr. Bergen remembers him. He goes, Mr. Thompson, I remember when you came in here. Where's your teddy bear? And,
give the teddy bear a name. Where's Sprinkles? I don't know, that sounds too much like a dog's name.
No, where is little Tinker?
Or Theo.
Theo?
Where's little Theo?
Where's little Theo? Theo. Oh. Where's little Theo? Yeah. So whatever, and he looks at him, is that, and blah, 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 Thompson? My, look how much you've grown. And he goes, oh, man. And it would be funny, though. I just imagine, walks in, this place is a dump. Oh, I bet you would think that, Mr. Thompson. He goes, oh, Mr. Bergen, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. And, it's and yeah, I think that'd be cute. What happened to, small Theo? And it was a tiny bear.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, and he's like, I lost him. And it would just be really sad. It would be really cute, though. Is he? Oh, Okay. I've thought of the ending. And he goes, you think that? And he goes, I know so. I lost him. I think he got thrown away. And he goes, the thing about all my bears is that sometimes they come home, but not in the best situations. And, you know, he goes to this he opens up this little chest, and it's like, and you see all the bears go, oh, and they go, what's wrong with that? And he goes, that's the teddy graveyard. And, you know, somehow, some magical way, the remnants of some of the bears come home, but they're not alive. They're gone. And you see Mr. Bergen ever so gently, take out a little box, and it says Theo on it. And he puts it there. Fudge! Ah! Okay. Sorry. Whew! The point being, I would want him to get little Theo out, this little cute blue teddy bear with the bandana. That's what I'm imagining. But all his fluff is gone. His ear's missing. All this stuff. And he puts him down, and he goes, well, Mr. Thompson, want to help me? And he'll say, I don't know if I can. He goes, you're a toy maker. You have it.
You have the gift.
You see the glint in his eye, and you see like this beautiful like montage like with Woody. They patch him up beautifully, and all of a sudden he picks him up and he goes, oh, there you are, Theo. And Theo
can look at the dad and
Theo
say,
comes alive and says, it's good to see you again. And then the veil just brightness just envelops the screen. The veil's been lifted for the dad. He looks around, tears. The shop looks more vibrant. Everything looks more vibrant. And he looks at Mr. Bergen and he goes, and he just smiles. And you see all the kids holding their bears, and the bears start cheering, hip hip, hooray! Like there's something cute and cheesy like that. And he looks around. They're freaking out. And he goes, I don't what is happening? And then Mr. Bergen says, and they kind of, I feel like that monologue will kind of go like, a gift needs to be passed. And that's when it would transition to your epilogue.
Yes. And I think Mr. Bergen's not dead at this point. I think he's just passed on the gift. And I think the dad, I think we see our epilogue, we see Bergen's toy store, you know, we can see the kids and the dad working really hard to fix it up. They're repainting the walls, you know, they're putting up shelves that have been broken. And then we see Mr. Bergen, you know, showing the dad how to make teddy bears real quick, and then we see the dad make a teddy bear, and he puts it on a shelf, and then we zoom out and we can see a bunch more teddy bears on shelves, and we see little hands pulling them off, going up to the cash register, and we see the dad behind the cash register, and we see our three bears sitting on a little shelf behind, while the other kids, while their kids are either in the running back and forth helping.
You see the oldest brother wearing a little work apron helping. He's like, we need some of this. And the little brother's just sitting with his dad holding buttons because he can't do much. He's 5. And then you see the little girl sitting with Mr. Bergen, and they're reading to all the kids and the bears. And all the bears are listening with their kids. And it'd just be cute. But I would just want the last thing to be just a zoom in on Theo. And Theo looks at the camera and smiles, and that's the end.
I like it. Oh! Can we? I need this movie now.
We'd have to, honestly, this will be one that we will write everything for, and we will have a group read someday.
Yes, this is for sure one that we will. Oh, I want this movie.
What do you want the title?
Teddy. Teddy bear.
I think I would too much of Ted. Sorry, Ted's ruined the one.
No,
Ted
you're not
for
wrong.
me.
You're not wrong.
I would think just Bergen's Bears.
Stuffed.
Stuffed is pretty close. That's good. I like the cleverness of just one word. Stuffed.
I don't know. You guys help us out.
Yeah, I think I'll give it.
You guys help us out.
I think that will be a good thing. We'll invite people to do that. We'll definitely. This was a lot of fun. Making up an actual pitch was a lot of fun.
We were going to come up with an original pitch for our 50th episode, and that's coming up. But I think it fits better today.
I just wanted to see if we can do it.
And this is our original.
This could be an episode, and it has been
an episode. It's been a good.
It's been 2 hours.
Yeah,
that went by fast. This is honestly what I was hoping for. In some ways, like someday sitting down and me and you have like a pitch meeting, and we did. We came up with 3 really cute characters. We came up with a really cute little message.
Came up with 8 really cute characters.
Yeah,
I like Mr. Bergen. I like the kids. I like the bears. And I like the dad.
And we'd just be really sweet. But I think for now that is it. We are done. We're gonna try to see where this goes. I might be down to do this again for a couple of weeks straight, but I don't know. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. This was fun.
This was a lot of fun. It was fun to sit down and talk, and we were just going back and forth almost the entire time, or we would go off on fun ideas.
Got the emotions going.
Oh my gosh, the Theo bringing Bot back to life. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It did. It didn't.
Once we mentioned the dad, I was like, the dad's gonna have a teddy bear.
It didn't hit me until when we opened the shop door with the dad. I went, oh, we gotta give the dad a bear. Oh my gosh, there's a reason why he loves toys. Oh my gosh, we gotta make him fix Theo and show that he has the gift. Love it.
Theo's toys.
I think I want to keep Theo a surprise.
Thompson's toys.
I think Thompson's toys or just Bergen's bears.
Well, yeah, Thompson's toys and Bergen's bears.
Oh, I think I want Bergen's bears to be like the title. It's really sweet. It'll be cute. I think stuffed might work. It gives the up aspect of just one word.
It's the same, with Tangled and
stuffed or. I don't know. I would call it Believe, but that's just Veil of fluff. Fluffy veil. Well, I think for now that's about it. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoy this one. This one was a lot of fun.
It was. And thank you if you made it all the way to the end, thank you. And if any of you know how to, know of a way where we can turn this into a movie, an actual movie, let us know.
This could easily be a short film, easily,
or a full-on movie.
It could.
This is one project that I would love to put on the big screen. Imagine a movie that you and I have written that we put into theaters.
We have to make sure we get this
copyrighted
then.
Yes.
I'll look about that. But thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this story. This has been one that it's kind of been in my brain for a while, but I'm glad we took this turn. It was going to be a very different concept for D&D, but this is cute, and I think it was good. So, well, from all of us here, thank you, and we will see you later, pitches. Bye.
Bye.